Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today's phrase is like clockwork, like clockwork. And the phrase like clockwork means something which happens regularly, predictably, or reliably in much the same way as a clock keeps accurate time. We use it to describe processes, events, or behaviors which occur in a precise, predictable pattern. It's not a business word, though. You can use it in many different ways, and it can apply to a wide range of situations. For example, every morning I'm at the gym at 6 a.m. like clockwork. Yeah, of course I am. The event started like clockwork. So in this case, it doesn't happen all the time. It's a one-off event. You can always count on him to finish the project on time like clockwork. He calls his parents every Sunday like clockwork. The migration of birds happens like clockwork every year. I do a podcast every day like clockwork. The royal family, they operate like clockwork, which is why when the king spent an extra day in hospital last week, everyone was speculating about his health because everything they do is like clockwork, because for them, time is very, very important. So that gives you an idea what it's like. By the way, speaking of the king, since last week when he did spend that extra night in hospital, people have been speculating about his health, which is probably why he's been forced to tell us that he has cancer. The BBC, presumably because the king is the supreme governor of the BBC, really have been going overboard with this story since yesterday. Even this morning, they have a live feed. King sleeps his first night with cancer. King eats breakfast with cancer. King goes to the bathroom with cancer. It's dreadful. I mean, I think I'll have to stop watching the media for a few days because the reporting is completely over the top. One thing which is not operating like clockwork at the moment is our health service. Now, in American English, the emergency department that you go to if you have an accident is called the emergency room. If you go to the hospital here in the UK, you go to the accident and emergency department. Okay, so in American English, emergency room is called ER, and in British English, accident and emergency is called A&E departments. Okay, so there we are. Now, what's happened is because the king is getting treated for cancer, many people here are on waiting lists trying to get cancer treatment from our health service. And they're being told, oh, you have to wait 6 months, you have to go private. If you want to be seen quicker, you'll need to go to a different hospital. So this has really highlighted the problems that we are having. And now, of course, our government immediately is taking action to try and look and speed up our healthcare system because it really is very, very broken. If you go to an A&D department here, you can wait between 8 and 24 hours for treatments. Now, the last time I was at my local A&E department, with diabetes, I waited 8 hours. I got some treatment and then I just gave up and left because I couldn't wait any longer. So that gives you an idea of how much pressure they're under. So people are waiting and have been waiting a long, long time for medical treatment. And I want to share a story with you that in our media today, this is all about a trans woman who's 24 years old who is seeking a gender change. And she's been told by her health service that she should wait 6 years for the health service to treat her or pay £18,000 to have the body she wants by going private. Now, of course, the question there is gender change as important as things like cancer? Should it be higher on the list? Well, gender change is kind of a big deal here. So what happened was this man, as he is physically, although he lives as a woman, so he's called a trans woman, and he wants to be referred to as she, basically went to a shop during COVID time, was wearing a mask and had long hair, and the shop assistant thought he was a woman and referred to him as madam. Basically, she said something like, "Here you go, madam," as we do with women in shops. And this apparently got him thinking about changing his gender. So from then on, he changed his pronouns to she, and approached our health service for treatments. And it says here, bearing in mind now that it's a woman we're talking about, okay? A trans woman has voiced her anger, so this is the man who became the woman, at being told she will have to pay £18,000 or wait 6 years to have her body changed by the health service. It says here that she says her situation was unethical and horrible, and that she does not belong in her body because she has the body of a man. She was mistakenly called madam by a shopkeeper because of her long hair and the fact that her mask hid her stubble. Stubble is what men have, okay? We before we shave in the morning, we have stubble on our face. So at that point, this person was a man with the pronoun he. They decided to change the pronouns. She, or he at that point, decided to change his pronouns to she and her before starting hormone treatments. And she said that she came from a strict transphobic Muslim family. She now takes hormones. She has the top half of her body is a woman, but the bottom half of her body is still that of a man, and she's waiting to have her body changed. Okay, so the hormones have changed part of her body, and she wants the operation basically to change all of her body. She couldn't get the hormones quick enough, so she's getting those privately. And our health service have told her that she has to wait 6 years. And she's saying here, being trans is really hard She says, I'll have to wait until I'm in my 30s to be seen and to have the body that I want. It just feels so unethical, the amount of money and time that you have to wait to get treatment to change your gender. Now, of course, this story now, because she's living as a woman, she's calling herself she. She claimed she was desperate to have the operation, feeling trapped due to her gender dysphoria and her lack of funds. And then she says, I was already dealing with a lot, but now that I've been on hormones for 2 years and the dysphoria for my body has become so strong, I really need to have it. It's incredibly frustrating, and there have been so many times where I've cried about this. And so she started an online fundraiser to get the operation done privately. So that just gives you an example of our health service. You can really decide for yourself whether you think that operation should take place alongside other people who are waiting for things like cancer. I don't really have an opinion on that, but what I can tell you is that I've met two people in my life now who've changed their gender. This is quite a common thing now. And I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and he was saying that his son is going through some kind of gender dysphoria and has now decided to live as a woman. And he was asking me for some kind of advice or support, but I really didn't know what to say. I mean, I suppose we all have our journeys with this kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't really know. This woman here says she feels like it's a second puberty. Well, I guess taking hormones. I know one of the people that I knew who went through this, the hormones alone made them absolutely crazy. They just were very, very angry all the time. So there we are. That's a story that's in the news today. And she says, I'm really happy, at least I have boobs now. You see, my initial response to that is to think, well, surely something like that can wait. But according to what she's saying, actually, no, it can't wait. It's a very serious thing, and it could create problems for her mental health. I suppose in that situation, she has the opportunity of going private and going to a country like South Africa or Iran. Both of those places uh, apparently are experts at changing gender. I have no idea how that works, why Iran would be top of the list, Thailand as well, but that would be very unsafe. So I'm telling you all of this just so that you can see the kind of pressures which the health service is under in a modern society. You see, so it really needs to be more modernized and have more money to deal with these new kinds of things which are coming up. The other thing as well, of course, is gender reassignment or gender affirmation. I suppose it's not a sickness, is it? Or is gender dysphoria a sickness? You see, even trying to find the right way to talk about it makes it very hard. But anyway, I hope that gives you some insight into our health service and what they're currently going through. Oh dear, that was long, wasn't it? A bit depressing. Anyway, just to leave you on a lighter note, getting back to like clockwork, I'm going to go for a little walk now because the rain is off. It was pouring here yesterday. I didn't get the chance to go out. So I'm going to go for a little walk. I'm worried about my neighbors. I haven't seen them. And I have a horrible feeling that one of them may have passed away. But of course, here in Britain, you can't ask. You can't just go and say, hello, excuse me, are you dead? You have to wait for someone to tell you or meet them on the street and ask. So I don't know, but their car's gone. There's definitely someone in the apartment, but I'm hoping to see somebody that I can say, everything okay? Just thought I'd say hello. But these things, I see nurses going in and out, so somebody's there, but I just don't think it's both of them. So I'll let you know about that. Yeah, so that's something for me to think about. Okay, see you all soon. Bye.